Greetings, entrepreneurs. It is episode 26 of the Notary Ninja Show. We are going to talk about today enhanced life estate deeds, aka Ladybird deeds, the mysterious Ladybird deed. And on our last episode, episode 25, excuse me, I'm going to turn the echo down a little bit. On episode 25, we were talking about how to start a legal document preparation business, which is very similar to any other business you would start, especially a service-based business like a notary business. But we had mentioned that one of our primary things that we offer in the legal document realm is Ladybird deeds or enhanced life estate deeds. And that when we did that episode, we got a lot of feedback from people like, "Wait, what is this thing? What is this? How can I take advantage of it?" So I'm going to do a deep dive on that today and talk about how people can take advantage of it, what it is exactly, and how this can benefit anybody and everybody. Because I'd be doing a disservice if I didn't, I guess. So all about the mysterious enhanced life estate deed, the Ladybird deed. I know when you hear our intro, you hear me say you can reach Mark at legaldocprepnotary.com because you can. But we also own a site called ladybird.net. There's probably going to be some law firm that's going to buy that off of me someday, but it is ours for right now. It's a nice it's a nice WordPress based website, and it ranks pretty well, as you can imagine, organically for Ladybird dates. Um, so uh, that is, we've got a lot of websites actually. We've got um, Legal Doc Prep Notary. That's of course our main site. I would say that would be like our flagship website, ladybird.net. Another one, and then our Kajabi account allows us to. That's where we host our course, but that allows us to actually create funnels for things like selling Ladybird deeds and other services. People can opt in, and they can kind of select their service, or they can opt for digital downloads. But Kajabi allows me to create a bazillion landing pages, as many as I want. And what's crazy is, so we have a lot of landing pages, I guess is where I'm going with that. And those are more or less designed to bolster your main websites, which are the two I had previously mentioned. But you can create landing pages for any number of services. And what's crazy is, I know I'm going on a tangent here. I'm going to circle back to Ladybirds, but what's crazy is that the landing pages, when I go into Kajabi Analytics, they all get traffic. They're all getting me traffic. So these different landing pages I've created, some of them by states or areas, and some of them by topics, are pretty quick to make. And to be perfectly honest with you, Kajabi is a great marketing machine. I'm actually going to put a link. If you're an entrepreneur and you are wanting to delve into sales funnels and automation emails and or course creation, even whatever, Kajabi is awesome. I know there's other things like it, like Kartra and Samcart and stuff. And I fooled around with Samcart and with not ClickFunnels, but there's another one like ClickFunnels, and I found them, Samcart and that other one. I found it to be, I didn't like it that much. I found it to be not as user friendly as you would think. So when I got into Kajabi, I just loved it, man. I love this machine that is Kajabi. It has made us a lot of money. Um, so, and it's applicable to everyday service businesses. It's applicable to digital marketers. It's applicable to really any number of things. But all right, so let's move on. Let's go into Ladybird Deeds. So, like I said, we own the site called ladybird.net, and we offer Ladybird deeds to the community. Now, it's important to know that a Ladybird deed, it is a function of law that allows the seamless transfer of death or transfer of ownership of property in the event of death. So in other words, it's designed to avoid probate. So it is, in a sense, like a trust. It's an estate planning tool. Um, it's actually called an enhanced life estate deed. Ladybird deed is a coined phrase. It's a coined name. And that name actually comes from the First Lady, Lyndon B. Johnson's wife, Claudia Alta, uh, who was, her nickname was Ladybird. And Lyndon Johnson used this tactic to transfer all his real property to his spouse. And so that was where the name Ladybird deed came from. Now, this particular, I guess, loophole, as we'll call it, um, is legal in Florida. I'm going to Vermont, Michigan, and West Virginia, in Texas. Those are the states that have a ladybird deed law. So the ladybird deed is great in that, one, you completely avoid probate. You remain in full control. So where a common tactic for people to kind of transfer their property is what's called a quit claim deed. And the problem with the quit claim deed is that you put the people on the title immediately. So they have an immediate vesting and control and ownership. So that could prove to be complicated for you in the future if you decided to sell that property or refinance that property. So that could not necessarily play to your advantage. So with the Ladybird deed, you avoid that. You have full control. It basically functions as a latent deed. So if something happens to you, boom, you trigger it, and it goes to your ancestry or to whoever you designate. And what's really neat about this, specifically in Florida, is how the law applies to Medicaid. So if you found yourself in a debilitating position where you were on spend down Medicaid, but you had this deed in effect, the state cannot claim, or no creditor for that matter, can take claim to your property. It's already set up to be deeded to the next person, and they can't touch it, which is what they would like to do, is touch your property. They'd like to get their hands on it and liquidate that asset, but you have already, through through this function of the law, have transferred that property. So the crazy thing is that ladybirds they're super inexpensive. They're easy to execute. They're inexpensive, and it's actually cheaper to execute a ladybird deed than it is to go through probate process. So if you owned real property, which for most people is their largest asset is their home. So, and when it comes to like estate planning, if you had a large asset, if you had a large estate, you would want like a full trust for your estate. But if you have a small estate, like most people do, and your home is basically your biggest asset, there's probably really no reason to go into all of that. So you can just put this mechanism in place very affordably and very inexpensively, and protect the most important asset you have and will it to others without having to deal with uh, the nightmare that is probate. Now, what happens with probate is if you die with a will, it'll still go to probate. But what happens is your family member, or whoever whoever your beneficiary is, would go to the court, the clerk of court, and they would have to file. It's like a summary judgment, summary administration, and they would more than likely get that summary administration to get your property, but they have to pay the court's fees to originate that, and then they have to wait on that. So it becomes this unnecessary headache. And for most people, they're going to have to hire either an attorney or a paralegal or a document preparer like myself to help them with that summary administration. So it becomes a headache where with an enhanced life estate deed form, it's $150, and then it's recorded, and then it's kind of done. It's like a set it and forget it thing. Nobody has to worry about anything. So that is a distinct advantage of this particular form of deed. The other nice thing is it doesn't interfere with anything. So if you're going to go through the refinancing process, getting another loan, it isn't going to interfere with that. If you're going to sell this property, it isn't going to interfere with that. So it isn't. There's nobody else who's going to have claim any ownership rights. It's just strictly a latent deed. So obviously, a lot of advantages to it. Now, um, so those are a couple benefits of it. Now, there are other things like this. If you're like not in one of those states I mentioned, like West Virginia, Texas, and this sounds like, oh man, I'm missing out. Well, come to Florida. But but seriously, there are other states that offer a similar type of deed. They have what they call a transfer on death deed, a TOD, which is a way cornier name than Ladybird deed. But there are other mechanisms like this for other places. So you can still check your state laws, and you can check with like an estate planner, an estate attorney, into something like that in one of these other states. I believe, like for example, California has a Todd, and I'm not really sure what other states do. To be honest with you, I'm principally familiar with the way things are done in Florida. And in Florida, we have obviously we have an elder population that obviously, again, their most important asset is their house. So we offer this service to people. We offer this Ladybird deed to people, which has been is like it says wildly popular, and we make it to where it is super affordable. And again, the people can list four. They can list up to four beneficiaries to their um, property. And the disadvantage to this would be like if you have young kids. So if you were a parent and your kids aren't adult age yet, and you were wanting to leave them with, your estate or your property, that wouldn't be appropriate under those circumstances because they're not adults. They can't inherit real property. So this would be more appropriate for grown-up kids. If you are a parent of grown-up kids, then this is a tool for you to look at, unless you are planning on leaving it to another person like a sister or brother, or a relative other than minor children. So minor children, it would not be appropriate in that case. You would want to look at something a little more extensive than this under those specific circumstances. So there you have it. That is the mysterious Ladybird deed. In a couple of minutes, that's what it is. Um, it is in Florida. It is considered a deed of transport, like a warranty deed or a quit claim deed, which means there's a witness requirement on it as well as a notarization. You have to have a two witness and a notarization requirement, and then it has to be recorded with with the clerk of court in the county that the property is situated in, which is pretty easy to do. But that is basically it. That's an enhanced life estate deed. That's a Ladybird deed. I think after hearing this, you can see why they're so popular. And maybe somebody who wants to take advantage of it. So there you have it, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Tune in next time. We will be talking about something else, maybe more interesting. All right. Bye.